Am I the idiot for refusing to leave my friend's baby shower just because my ex didn't want her boyfriend to see me? She's not technically an ex since we were never in an actual relationship. I, male 26, was back home for a few months almost 2 years ago. We hooked up for I'd say 4 months until I flew back out of state for work again. Her and I didn't see each other again just recently at this baby shower. I guess they became friends through this mom group. My friend has one other kid, and they became good friends, so that's why she was also invited. And I was gonna say hi when I saw her there, but she ignored me. Then that's when I noticed she was there with her boyfriend and their baby, so thought it was better to keep my distance. But she actually approached me like 10 minutes later by the bathroom in the house. She asked me if I could leave because she's with her BF, and it's just very awkward with both of us there at that party. But like, I haven't even approached them at all, so why would it be awkward if we don't interact during the party? She wasn't letting it go. She actually told me please, and it's complicated. I told her if her boyfriend doesn't know we have a history then he won't need to, because I honestly don't care. All I'm doing is being here celebrating one of my close friends' days, so if she leaves me alone I'll leave her alone. That didn't end up being the case. They left not even an hour later. I kept my word though about not going near them, but one of my friends told me her boyfriend saw me and for whatever reason they started arguing. It wasn't subtle either. They went to the front of the house, but you could still hear what sounded like them raising their voice at each other. And a few minutes later I saw her walking to my friend, probably telling her bye, but she definitely looked right at me after that like she's super pissed. Everyone at the party was confused afterwards, so they were all talking about it for the rest of the time. For the first time in a long time she texted me since I never changed my number. She told me thanks for ruining a party when all of this could have been avoided. I asked her what could have been avoided, but again she didn't tell me. She just thinks it's my fault for whatever poop went down. Then after my friends found out she asked me to leave, they think I'm tough for not doing that. The whole party was meant for my friend and it turned into some drama just because I wouldn't leave, even if it was for some unknown reason. What to think now, or why it was such a big deal that we were at the same party when neither of us even talked at all. Am I the idiot for being the cause of a scene because I denied her request? Update. Just so she hears it from me first, like a commenter suggested I do. She had no idea my ex and I had a past, but she told me it was fine. The party was awkward after, but that's on them and she doesn't blame me. It was great to hear because this was meant for her to celebrate her baby. And as her friend I wanted to be there celebrating with them. Obviously all of you want to know the answer to the main question, if this baby was my kid or what was their deal after all. We talked on the phone. She went first and beat me to that topic. Probably read my mind because she started off by telling me she had something important to talk about after apologizing for blaming me about the party. To sum it up, we agreed to get a paternity test done ASAP because I couldn't handle this curiosity. It was already driving me crazy. He is definitely my kid. I've looked at the results a million times since they got back. But she already knew my son was mine. She found out she was pregnant after I left. She didn't want to tell me because when I went back for work she wasn't told until after I'd already flown back. And that hurt her. Since it seemed like I didn't care much, she was scared I wouldn't be willing to go back and help take care of our kid. This was hard for me to hear. I was actually crying when we talked about it in person. I'm still in shock learning this, but she let me come meet him a day ago and it was emotional AF. Holding him really got me. He's so damn big already. That whole day I spent it with my son, then we stayed up late talking about how we're gonna do this then. This is new to me, so we're gonna go with the flow. But holy frick, I have a son. That's so crazy, right? Far as her boyfriend seems like wasn't cheating. At least from what she told me and the little bit of info I got from him, which he was pissed about. They weren't exclusive either, but after she got pregnant he was only willing to be around as long as I wasn't. And obviously seeing me pissed him off because he thought I was still living out of state. It's a mess right now, but he doesn't want to be around if I am. But my son is my kid. She told me not to worry about their relationship because the only thing she wanted was to make sure my son had a dad in his life. Even if I've got no idea what I'm doing, being his dad is what I want to be for him. We already missed each other all this time. I'm excited to see him again tomorrow. Not the idiot. Awesome to hear, Opus. But I would consider getting legal advice and some kind of custody agreement. She didn't tell you and she knew the baby was yours and the BF doesn't want you around. To ensure you're always in your kid's life, I'd want a legal custody agreement. Not the idiot. Damn, wait. So she was actually using the BF all along, so the son had a father figure, and now that you're here she's cool with him leaving. She also didn't tell you about your child because she was upset with you for leaving. I mean, it's great you're spending time with your kid, but get your ass to family court and get some type of child custody situated. This woman seems to use men based on how she needs or feels about them. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for ruining my future Sil's wedding to be? So I, 30, male, have been with my BF, 34, male, for 2 years. My mother is very homophobic and basically cut me out when she found out I was bi back when I first finished college. All my life she would try to control me. She would try to control what I wear, who I hang out with, only to fit her definition of the perfect son. For example, I like to knit and she would throw away all my knitting accessories because it wasn't a hobby for boys. I always told her it's her own goddamn fault for sending me to an all-boys school and that I had eyes. My siblings have always been supportive of my lifestyle and we're very close. My older brother is getting married to his GF of 5 years and they will get married in July 2022. His fiancée is awesome, but her family is also very homophobic. Her mother and mine get along very well and do many activities together. I have gone LC with my mother over the years. I love my brother's fiancée, but she has a tendency of trying to please everyone around her, which means that when I got my invitation for the wedding, lo and behold, I was the only one with no +1. At first I thought it was a mistake, so I contacted his fiancée, since I knew she was the one taking care of the guest list and the RSVP, and she told me that they had to cut down the number of invitations because of COVID. but I checked with my siblings and all of them got a +1. This really upset me and my BF, since he is very close to my brother. They went to uni together. I contacted my brother, who of course had no idea that I didn't have a +1 and told me he'd take care of it. I then received a bunch of text messages from my sister-in-law berating me for talking to my brother and that I should have just taken the one invitation. She told me she did this to prevent any problems with me and her side of the family, and my mother. She also told me that she didn't want me and my BF to be the center of attention at her own wedding. She told me that she'll give me the +1 but that I'll be ruining her wedding. I've talked to friends and my siblings and they're mostly on my side. But some have told me that it's her wedding and that she has the right to invite who she wants. I think I might be the idiot because my mother's subtle homophobic remarks don't affect me anymore, but I don't think it'll be fair to let my BF be subject to them and her family's homophobia, and that it is indeed her own wedding. Edit. Hello. Thanks for all the comments. I'll try to read all of them. I noticed some of you questioning my use of the word lifestyle. And honestly, it's how I've always referred to my life. It's how my mother always referred to my life growing up and it stuck with me. I feel like it's something I internalized, but I see how it can be detrimental to our identity. Edit 2. I haven't shown my brother the texts yet. My BF and he are supposed to have a gaming night in a couple days. My BF and I discussed what we should do and we'll talk to him then. I think you're right, and that I should show him her texts. Update. After my BF and my brother had their gaming night, my BF called me over to our gaming room and we talked to my brother. We told him we both loved him but decided to not attend the wedding. My brother was obviously upset, until I followed the advice of many of you guys and showed my brother's my future sister-in-law's texts. To say he was livid was an understatement. He actually called up my sister-in-law in front of us and demanded that she apologize to both me and my BF. She did, but defended what she did and explained her reasons to my brother, the same reasons she gave me when I first confronted her. He tried to argue with her but she told him that she'd talk to him once he came back home and hung up. It took some time, but my BF was able to calm him down and we talked about everything. He told us he completely understands if we decided not to attend, and that he would never hold it against us, even though he would love for us to attend. He told us he would never want us to degrade ourselves just for his fiance's happiness. He ended up spending the night at our house because I didn't want him driving when this upset. In the end we couldn't sleep and we talked almost all night. He told me that he sees my sister-in-law in a new light now, since he feels like her family will have too much power over their relationship. Our mother knows that she doesn't have that kind of power over us, but he's scared that his mother-in-law would try to control his future wife. In the end he told me that maybe he didn't want to attend his own wedding. I told him to get some rest and to really think about it before doing anything reckless. He slept until 1 p.m. and then went back home. We got a text a few days later telling us the wedding was officially on a hiatus and that my brother and his fiancée are on a break. We told him that he could move in with us for now if he needed space from his fiancée, and he agreed. In the end, both my BF and my brother told me I did the right thing by showing him the texts, because he deserved to know who he was about to marry, not the idiot. I love your brother. He did absolutely the right thing. Too often on this sub we see people being asked to hide who they are for the sake of keeping peace. It restores my faith in humanity to see an update like this. Not the idiot. You have handled this perfectly well, and your brother is better off knowing and making a decision based on that. This has probably made the rest of his life a lot better, and marrying his GF and her parents' influence would have made his life much harder. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for respecting my late wife's wishes about keeping her family out? My wife unfortunately passed away last year when our daughter was only 3 months old. It was very difficult to get through, but my little girl and I are keeping it together. My daughter is 16 months now and there's been pressure from my wife's sister to let her side of the family see my daughter. The issue is my wife had absolutely no contact with her family since she was 18, so 16 years of not seeing them. Her home life was something she never wanted to talk about. It always made her upset, so I never pushed her to tell me. All I know is they were manipulative and abusive in some form. She left as soon as she was 18, changed her last name and never spoke to them again. 4 years ago she got into contact with her older sister and she's the only person my wife allowed into our lives. By that I mean we met through video chat but never actually in person. We still maintain contact after my wife passed and we met a couple times before and during my wife's funeral. My sister-in-law called me a few weeks ago. She mentioned her parents would really like to meet their granddaughter and want to start over. They didn't attend my wife's funeral because they knew she wouldn't want them to be there. One thing my wife always made clear is that she did not want them near our daughter, ever. Telling my sister-in-law this ... well, she got very upset. She said it's been years and yes, her parents were awful people. Again, won't say exactly what they did. But losing their daughter has made them reflect on things. And they want to meet my daughter since my wife never gave them that chance. She's still trying to convince me and so far I've said no. Each time I just feel more and more bad for denying them, but it's what my wife wanted. Her parents found my Facebook. Pretty sure sister-in-law might have told them. And I've gotten dozens of messages begging me to let my daughter know her mom's side of the family. And I shouldn't keep her from knowing her grandparents for past mistakes. None of them will leave me alone, and sister-in-law has said a few times that I may be grieving losing a wife, but to have some empathy for them losing a child. Because right now I'm being too heartless for denying them the chance to meet the only piece of my wife they have. I don't know the whole reason why my wife never wanted to see them again. Even if I did though, I'd still like to honor her wish. The way they are being, however, makes it hard not to wonder if I am. Update. Yes, in the end I did decide it was best to cut off all contact. Not only with my wife's parents but her sister too. I tried to get through to her many times about why I'd like to respect my wife's call on this since she knew her family best. and what they did. Despite all the reassurance that her parents have changed, she still refused to actually say what went down, so that was not at all convincing for me. Once I blocked them all, I was getting calls from different numbers the following days. I sent one final message to her sister stating they're never allowed near me or my daughter, and if they ever tried to come harass us, I will get authorities involved. Since then it was radio silence for the last couple weeks, but I decided to play it safe a few days ago and changed my phone number. I've also deleted my Facebook since I don't use it that often, but have put my other social media accounts in private. Got many great suggestions from many of you about how to make sure they have absolutely no access to my daughter, so I really appreciate that. I've saved a few of these comments in case I need some extra tips in the future as my daughter gets older and starts school. Since I last posted and have cut contact, I feel like I can finally breathe. You have no idea how stressful and draining the whole thing was for me, so really, thank you all for the help. I've been more at peace putting this all behind me and focusing on my beautiful little girl. Just wanted to leave this update since I know there was a lot of concern about how this would all play out. Not the idiot. Please tell me you have a will and a plan if, God forbid, anything happens to you. These people have shown themselves to be untrustworthy in regards to your child. Not the idiot. It's truly a shame that you've had to go to such great lengths. But as the saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Your wife knows those people best, and you need to trust her. Don't let your guard down.